I started in law enforcement. I'm a law enforcement family. My grandfather was a police officer. My father, I have uncles, my brother. So I was kind of bred from the beginning to be a police officer. My dad would not let me go to school to be a police officer. I actually went to school for finance and accounting. After I was in the business world for a little bit, I went to my dad and I was like, I really don't want to do this. I want to be a police officer. And that's how it started. Then obviously he was a local police officer. He was actually the chief of police in Whiting. He had told me if he had to do it all over again, that he either would have went to county or state. So I focused all my attention on Lake County. I just saw it because there's so many different opportunities, different things that you can do. It took me a few years, got hired on with County Sheriff's Department, motor officer, went to motor school. From there I went on to the Detective Bureau. And then after that, I finally got put out here to the Marine Unit. It was something, a passion that I've always wanted to do. So I've been out here, like I said, for the past 10 seasons. Definitely just the water itself. I've always loved the water. Growing up, like I said, I talked about my grandfather and my father. Both of them had boats. It was, mostly fishing boats. Wasn't really pleasure boats or anything like that. And I would go out with them fishing. My whole time, all I wanted to do was drive the boat. I couldn't wait for us to get skunked at one place and have to move to a different place to go fishing. And I would always get to drive the boat, and I loved that. It was something I always saw myself doing. And so love for the water, love for boating, and it's a passion. It's a hobby of mine. It's something that I do all the time. There's a lot of people that don't want to be out here. A lot of people don't know what actually we do out in the Marine Unit. If you would ask probably 90% of the officers that are on the department, hey, do you want to come out to the Marine Unit? I guess 90% of them would say no. And it's just because of what we also have to deal with. I mean, if it's a nice, beautiful day, that's great. Everyone wants sunny and 85. But when we're going out, it's not like that all the time. In fact, when we're going out, it's usually bad weather. So we've got storms, high waves. The seas are just, not cooperative, and they don't want to do that. A lot of them will say that. And, no, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, no, I'd rather stay on land. So, so I think it is. I think it's a very important part of the Sheriff's Department, both for just being able to go out and save people, to rescue people, to help people that are in need, whether it be just giving them gas, giving them a jump, explaining the correct way to operate a boat or whatever it might be. To finding closure for a family that has lost a loved one. It's like I said, I think it's one of the more satisfying parts of the department, or gratifying, I should say. All of our calls are, I'd say all of them, most of them are during the summertime, but the boating season varies. I mean, we have the typical hardcore boaters, usually April 1st to October 31st, that's when they're out. However, in the first part of the year, we'll have all the hunters and fishermen, and the same thing in the latter part. After October 31st, we'll have all of our hunters and fishermen, and then even into the winter months where we have ice fishing or just duck hunting, and they'll wait for the ice to go away, and then they're going to go out as soon as they can. So this year, personally, I've been on. We've only had a couple actual recovery missions. And it's not like it's a one-day thing. It could be multiple days. We had one gentleman that was lost, and it was 38 days before we actually recovered him. But it was, especially in those first few weeks, it's day after day, going out there looking for that individual, both surface and underwater. And then after that, it might sporadically go to every third day or something like that when the weather conditions are are capable. And like I said, finally, after 38 days, we were able to recover that person. There's waves that are out there that, the waves that are recorded can be anywhere, 2 to 4, 4 to 6. And then that's kind of like the average or the normal. And if you're out there in those, 4 to 6 foot waves, someone who hasn't been out there, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this is really bad. But you get out there in those 9s, 10s, 12s, 15-foot waves. I believe the highest recorded wave is somewhere in the 19 to 21 foot range. So those are some big waves that are out there. Some of the boats, or the two boats we have here, the smaller one here is outfitted with the flare system, which is forward-looking infrared. It's a thermal technology to be able to see a warm body that is floating, in the water. So we have that. We also have our side scan sonar. So if we're looking underneath the water, we can actually, or when we're searching for something that's underneath the water, we can actually look and see what the bottom looks like, and we can see a silhouette of something that could possibly be a human, a gun, a car, or a boat that it sank. We can use that, and then most recently, the thing that we've got has been our rover, which is underwater recovery unit, or underwater recovery, and that actually gives us 4K video. It also does the side scan sonar and front sonar, so we can go underwater, and I'm looking at a screen that's in front of me to be able to look the areas to see if I can find something, and to keep our dive team from having to go down, in a treacherous day, or to keep them so they're not having too much time underwater. We can actually go down, find what we're looking for, and then they can follow the tether, back down. So a typical day for us is, obviously coming in, making sure the boats and everything are operational. We take care of, the maintenance, the day-to-day maintenance on the boats. Take the boats out for a patrol. We'll do, homeland security checks. We'll do just regular patrols of the beaches and all the other critical infrastructure that's there on Lake Michigan. Out of the 25 miles that we patrol, we have that. We have if we find something out there, obviously we'll do an enforcement stop if we need to, and most of our enforcement stops end up in either just a warning or just speaking with the individual, just telling them, hey, look, this is the safety equipment that you're supposed to have, or this is, you're supposed to have, these kind of the registration for this, or whatever it might be, and it's more of an educational stop than a stop that's going to end up, in some kind of citation. Now, obviously, we do sometimes have to give citations, and we do have to arrest people at times, but that's not the main focus out here. I do get to combine, both, what I do for a living, here at the police department, and what I love to do, the boating side of stuff, and to be able to mesh those two things together has been great. It's been a great opportunity.